Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study a very important poem written by A K Ramanujan that is titled as Ecology. So let's begin. So here's the text of Ecology by A K Ramanujan, and it goes like this. The day after the first rain, for years I would come home in a rage, for I could see from a mile away our three red champak trees had done it again, had burst into flower and given mother her first blinding migraine of the season. Okay, so in these three stanzas, though it is written in a very continuous form, so we'll analyze it along with reading only. So the situation is the rain has happened, and because of rain, red champak tree has bloomed. The flowers have bloomed, and flowers scent, flower smell has given the migraine to the mother. That's the situation. Clear? So it's ecological setup. There's a tree bloomed, and the smell is giving migraine to the mother. With their street long, heavy hung, yellow pollen fog of the fragrance, no wind could stift. So that pollen fog is coming, the fragrance is coming, which nothing can stop. It's so strong that nothing can stop it. No door could shut out from our black pillared house, whose walls had ears and eye. Scale, smell, bone creaks, nightly visiting voices were porous like us. So now the shift has happened and it is personified. What is personified here? Her personified house is personified here. That not only my mother has had that effect, but the house that in which they are living, it also has ears and eyes, and that effect of that pollen fragrance is so powerful on the house that nothing can stop it. Clear? So not only on individuals of human being, but entire house is personified. That entire house is affected by that fragrance of red champak tree that is affecting it. And they are porous like us. So similarly, how humans are affected, humans of that families are affected. Similarly, that house itself is affected by that effect of the fragrance of red champak tree. That's what has been said here. But mother. So now the tone is changed. So first from here till here, effect of red champak tree's fragrance on mother, and how he just want, he is not very happy with that, with the impact. But mother, now we'll see the perspective of mother. But mother fleshing her temper like her mother twisted silver grandchildren knickers, wet as old peck on her head, would not let us cut down a flowering tree. So there are two situations. In one situation, we get to know about the poet's perspective that this is the impact that red champak tree is having on my family, my mother, my house. It's so deep that it is affecting. So what poet wants? Poet wants to cut them because he feels it has no use. Rather, it is affecting the health of the family. But mother on the other side get very upset, get very angry on just hearing this, and she will never allow to cut down a flowering tree. So she will not allow to cut down the flowering tree. Okay, so that's now the mother's perspective is given. Almost as old as she seeded, she said, by the passing bird's providential dropping. Now she is telling why she doesn't want it to be cut. And she says that this tree is as old as she, and it is being planted. It is grown as a result of birds' provisional dropping. So it has some special things that the mother is reminding to the poet to give her gods and daughters daughters basket full of annual flower, and for one line of cushion a dower of migraines in season. So now according to the poet, this tree has no use. so it should be cut down. But mother feels that this tree has a deep impact in her life. It has been as old as she, and it has been there because of the bird's provisional dropping, so it has a memory attached with that. And why this tree is the significance for mother, why it is so significant? Because the flowers from generations are used to for worship, so it has that significance. It is used for worshiping God, so that's why it's special for the mother. Though some cousins might have migraine, but that's a very small cause that they are paying, because that tree is helping them from generations to offer service, faith to the God. That's the reason that mother is saying. So that's the poem all about. So first part, there's a situation, there's a red champak tree. Red champak tree is having a very strong fragrance that is giving migraine to his family, his mother, and house is affected. So poet doesn't want it to be there, he wants to cut it down, but mother is very adamant and she feels no, it can't be cut down because it has value, it has some deep value in her life, and paying a cause of little migraine is just very small in front of the offering that the tree has provided to her family from generations. That's what the perspective is. Clear? Now we come, just to summarize it all. So the poem Ecology, written by A K Ramanujan, is about son's devotion to her mother and her devotion to ecology, and that creates a conflict between the two. You have noticed that? So it's a son devotion to mother and mother's devotion to the tree, and how in the devotion they are at contrast to each other. And so most important theme of this poem would be that difference in the view of people belonging to old generation and those belonging to new generation. So many times it happens that what matters to us doesn't matter to our older generation, or what matters to them does not. So generation gap is what they are pointing about. So in the case of red champak tree become that point for which different generation feels differently. So here he says that red champak tree has no use. For poet, it is of no use. Their pollen pollute the air, thus the city. They cannot be prevented from entering the house, human body. Pollen are cause of severe pain that mother is suffering. As a poet has no emotion attached to ecology or the tree, he decides to cut them, as we mentioned earlier also. But on the other hand, his mother's perspective is contrary to his views. For her, the tree is not just a tree, but a good omen for her and her house. It is the flower of red champak tree which she and other people offer to God and their daughters. This is what make her consider her suffering a small sacrifice which she is giving to the tree. So you understand how old generation and new generation have different of opinions, and that difference of opinions is what the major theme is. So that's the perspective of the poem. I hope the poem was clear to you. With this, we have come to the end. Bye bye.